Hello. So I have an unboxing and also a little bit of catch up on all the things that are going on with me. And I figured I just kind of do it all at once. So I do have my FabFitFun box that I got probably a month ago. And can you believe it? I haven't opened it yet. And so we're going to open it now. And so there's proof that I haven't opened it yet because it's still sealed. So anyway, hope everybody's doing well. I haven't quite been on here for a while because, well, I've been living life, and December was insane for me, and so this is like the middle of January and 2026, and so December was insane because I got married. And so, yep. And it was at Disney, and we had to do a lot of planning, finalization of the plans, and making sure that our banquet event order, so when I say BEO, that's what that means, was in order, ready to go. I apologize for two things. I know I have a dog that will probably swing through here. I'm also doing laundry, and you might hear that in the background, so I apologize. So anyway, let's talk about the wedding a little bit. But first, here's my FabFitFun box. This will probably be my last box, mainly because I am going to be really streamlining a lot of what I spend my money on in 2026. But yes, this is all fun. Honestly, I do have the opportunity to pick and choose what I want in my box. It's been a minute since I've actually done that. I have not gone back into the app to figure out what I ordered or what I selected, and did had some add-ons, and so I'll show you what those add-ons are. But anyway, the wedding was December 18th at the Wedding Pavilion, just outside of the Grand Floridian in Disney, here in Orlando, Florida. I say here in Orlando. I'm about 30-40 minutes from Orlando, so I guess I'll just say Orlando, Florida. And it has been a dream of my husband to get married at Disney. And honestly, I would have just been perfectly fine just going to run to the courthouse and just pulling the trigger that way. But so when he made the decision to do the Disney wedding, we agreed upon, that's what we were going to do. It was more around, we wanted a wedding at Disney, but we didn't want a Disney wedding, if that makes any sense. So we didn't have characters or anything like that there, but we decided to plan the whole week out for the people that were going to be traveling to come join us. So let me talk to you a little bit about what we did. But first, our first thing out of the box, studio note cards with matching wax seals. Ooh, fun. Look at that. Our week started off with events Tuesday night. Our wedding was on Thursday. So Tuesday night began with, we invited people that were going to be able to make it in by Tuesday to swing by our room. So Terry surprised me with getting the presidential suite at the boardwalk for my wedding gift. Wasn't that sweet of him? And I think it was probably more for him than it was for me, to be honest with you. But yeah, we stayed at the boardwalk before in the vice presidential suite, which is also called the Sonora suite. And this time the steeplechase suite is the presidential suite. And I did have a brief review on my channel, so if you want to go back and take a look at it, you can see that. But anyway, I wanted to open this up. Here's the wax seals. I don't know if you can see what those are. I'm not sure what they are. They almost look like flowers, but they're a little different. But so are the cards. Show you the cards. These are the cards and the envelopes. Love it. I am that person that still sends out handwritten notes. So I like different note cards. So if you didn't know that about me, I do like to send out handwritten notes. Anyway, so Tuesday evening was kind of like, hey, come to the room. Let's sorry, advertisement. Get rid of that. Let's gather for, you know, just kind of like drinks, and because it was also club level, so we were able to kind of bring in some food from the club for snacks and stuff like that for our guests. And we also had like champagne and beer and wine and all the stuff. Although we couldn't see the fireworks from where we were at, because it is facing out onto the boardwalk. It's facing out and almost too much of a certain direction where you could not see the Epcot fireworks, but Epcot was in walking distance. This is a necklace. Yeah, fun. I think it's a necklace. It's either a necklace or a bracelet. Anyway, so this is what this is. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, it's a silver-plated necklace. Duh, if I just read it, it'd be all right. It's cute. Silver's my color. I like gold, but silver looks better on me, I think. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. It comes in its own little, it has its own little bag too. So pretty, yay. So we had a few of the people come to our room, and some that didn't, that were invited, and that was okay too. So, but anyway, it was a lot of fun to kind of like have everybody in one little space, his kids and the grandbaby and my niece and nephew and their new baby and some friends that we haven't seen for a while, kind of be there. Okay. This is called the Great Plate. It's a 3-piece set and it includes peeler and brush. Oh, this is fun. Okay, so that's what this is. And I think I remember what this is for. I think this is for garlic. Yeah, anything you want to, anything that you want to grate. Here comes the dog. Anything that you want to grate for recipes and stuff like that. So what's really nice about this is this is really rough. I don't know if you can hear that or not. But you take whatever it is, like garlic, if you want to grate it up, or I would imagine like any kind of like fruit peel. Inside this little sleeve is a little thing to grate it with, and this looks like maybe it's probably to help clean it up. I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look into that. But yay, I like things like this. It's so much fun. Okay, awesome. Has its own little sleeve. So far, happy about what I picked, even though I knew I was going to be happy when I picked it. So then the following day, we didn't make it a late night because the following day was going to be a busy day for everybody. It was going to be ladies' tea at Cake Bake there on the boardwalk, and it was going to be a golf outing for the men. So we try to play on words, so making sure that we were bachelor and bridal shower type thing separately. So Terry went and did his thing with the guys. I went and did my thing with the girls. This is Bobbi Brown. I love Bobbi Brown products, Vitamin Enriched Face Base. So it's a moisturizer and primer all in one. Awesome, because I just ran out of my normal primer. There's Bobbi Brown. I'm going to open this. And I do have a brief video on the ladies' tea on my channel. Ooh, I like it. It smells nice. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna like that. But love the Cake Bake. So I actually ran into Gwendolyn Rogers, who is the owner of Cake Bake, at an event she had. It was in October, I think it was. She had a cookbook signing event. And so I went to it and we talked a little bit about, do you want to know who's doing my cake? And I was like, Disney. Because we were still working on our BEO, and I didn't know I had options outside of Disney, to be honest with you. Part of the reason why I agreed to Disney is because I didn't want to have to do anything, and which is kind of semi not true, because there was a lot involved at the end of the day. So, but anyway, she's like, well, anytime you ever want a cake, you let me know. I'll hook you up. She's an Indiana girl. She's from Indiana. She started her first cake bake business in Broad Ripple in Indiana. And then she also had another location in Carmel, Indiana, that we frequented all the time, Terry and I. And then when we moved down here, and we found out before we moved down here, she was doing a cake bake. I automatically knew I wanted to do a ladies' tea for the ladies. And we were hoping that she'd get open in time. And she didn't know, her opening was delayed like about 6 to 8 months. And I was like sweating it going, I really hope they get open in time. And she did. So, but loved everything that they gave to us. And the ladies got to take home a chocolate chip cookie. They could order whatever they wanted off of the drink menu. And so we had some people that had the Black Swans, which is like an espresso martini. And my favorite, which was Gwendolyn's Famous Cosmopolitan. I wanted to have her Famous Cosmopolitan as my signature drink at the reception, but they wanted to charge by consumption for our signature drinks. And Terry, I said, we're having an open bar, that's good enough. So that's why we didn't do that. All right, pour over espresso cups. Look at that, like we need more cups in this house. But look how adorable they are. They're so tiny. Glass, and they come with its own little tray. That's cute, that's cute. These will be set up at on my coffee bar. I have a coffee bar, and so I'll set these up over there. Yeah, that's fun. But anyway, and Terry and I did talk about the cake situation, because how often do you get a Disney wedding cake? Hopefully once. And you can go to Cake Bake and get cake anytime you want to. And so that's how we ended up making that decision. And quite honestly, I was not disappointed. The Disney cake was fabulous. We ended up I chose a lavender cake with a guava cream cheese filling, and he chose a French toast cake with a maple filling, and it tastes like a spice cake. So it was quite good. Vanilla Sky. This is what I got. This is my next thing out of the box. I think this is perfume. I would hope. Doesn't really say. Safe for sensitive skin. Yep. What it is. It's our roller. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Ooh, I like it. It smells cozy, which is really nice, because today, here in Florida, right now, it's a little on the breezy and chilly side. And I will tell you exactly what the temperature is at the moment. It is a balmy 50 degrees. And right now it's considered golden hour because the sun is setting, which is why we have the harsh overhead light going on. But anyway, so we had ladies' tea and the men's golf outing. The guys had a great time, and it was just a lot of fun for them, from what I was told and the pictures I've seen. And then we had to go back to the hotel room and get ready for rehearsal, because we had rehearsal that evening. And we decided to have our rehearsal at the boardwalk and not at the wedding pavilion, because the wedding pavilion was going to have a wedding at the time, which was fine. Because we knew that our ceremony was going to be very basic anyway. You know, we wrote our own vows. And so when I got to the rehearsal, it was kind of funny, because I said, oh, I just recognized that I was the only girl in the room other than my day of coordinator and my wedding planner. And because my husband had his best man, and my brother was the officiant, and then my twin brother, because I do have a twin, love you, Bill, was my man of honor. And so we did not have a flower girl, but we had a ring bearer that was my nephew, who is a physician in Lakeland, and he brought the party down the aisle. Anyway, here's our next thing out of the box. Jewels, so that tells me it's jewelry. Oh, yay! Those were fun. Look how sparkly. I love sparkly. I'll use those. Absolutely. Hey, I could actually use those the other day. Yeah. So we had rehearsal. It was so much fun. Rehearsal was so much fun. It just cracked me up. Then we all had to go get back to the hotel and get ready because we had a dessert party at Epcot scheduled for our guests, and it was for UK Lockside is where we reserved the area. And if you've never been to Epcot, as soon as you walk in through International Gateway, there is like England, because they have countries all the way around the lake, and England is kind of like the first country you come into, and so that's where we had our dessert party. And it was, the weather was perfect, and we told everybody that they were going to we were having an ugly sweater contest, ugly Christmas sweater contest. Terry and I dressed up. We did not have ugly Christmas sweaters. We dressed up. I had a dress on that looked like Mrs. Claus, but he had a jacket on that kind of matched what I was wearing, and everybody else had ugly Christmas sweaters, and it was kind of funny to see their faces when we walked out, and we were dressed up and they weren't. But my older brother and his wife won the contest because she was like a mantle. So she had to hold her arms out, and she had decorations across her arms and her chest to be like a fireplace mantle with like garland and Christmas balls and everything. And she kept dropping her Christmas balls walking all the way over to UK Lockside. And then my older brother was dressed, he put a wig on, so it looked like he had a mullet, and he had a cut-off t-shirt, and I can't remember what was on the front of his shirt. But anyway, we didn't judge. We actually had our photographer and our wedding planner kind of be the judges, and that's who they decided on. So anyway, they got a gift card and for Disney, and they also ended up getting our necklaces. We had huge balls, light bulbs, necklace strands, and hopefully we'll have pictures soon, and that'll make better sense. Anyway, next thing out of the box, it's a purse. I'm sitting there going, what the heck am I unwrapping here? Mia bag. It's called the Mia. And here's the strap by Jules K. Jules K. So yeah, I'm always up for a really good bag. And I'm not mad about it. It's pretty basic, but that's okay. I like it. It's nice. It'll go with a lot of things that I have. And I have actually a bigger one that looks like this. So, but that is a Kate Spade. But this looks like a little bit like a Kate Spade. So anyway, so yeah, the dessert party was amazing. I'll try to put a picture up here of some of the photos that we got back as our sneak peek from the dessert party. And our videographer and our photographer walked around the entire time. We had amazing food. We got to pick and choose our food. We got to pick and choose what we put on our centerpieces for our tables. It was just a lot of fun. And then we decided to do a ride mix-in, and we didn't tell anybody we were doing a ride mix-in. So we did a ride mix-in on Soarin'. So we walked everybody backstage to Soarin' and got in on Soarin', and Terry and I got to ride a couple of times, so the rest of us did too, because we had a few that had infants that couldn't ride, so somebody had to watch the babies, and so we got to ride it a couple of times, and that was a lot of fun. But we also gave them yellow straps, kind of like, and I don't have one here to show anybody what that looks like, but the yellow straps that are on your seatbelt in Soarin', where you have to pull on it to make sure that you're showing the Disney members that you're strapped in really well. We gave them replicas of that at the dessert party to kind of introduce the fact that we were going on Soarin' as a mix-in. So it was fun. So we ended up having a late night. By the time we got back to our room, it was close to 11:30, 12 o'clock. And then we had to kind of call it a day. And then the next day was going to be busy because it was wedding day. So what is this? This is honeydew. This is pajamas. I'm always about pajamas. So let's open this up. So the next day, Terry and I decided, you know, we were staying in our suite together, and we didn't want to pull the trigger of having him go somewhere else or me go somewhere else. So we had breakfast together, and he ended up going ahead and going with his best man to play putt-putt while my mother came from where they were staying, and because my twin brother and his wife stayed with us in the suite, and she came to get her hair and makeup done and waited. I waited while she had that done before I had my hair and makeup done, because I'm like, why not get my mom's hair and makeup done? So she loved it. Pajamas, long sleeve, perfect. I should have opened these up a long time ago. These would have been really nice tonight. And pants. And they're soft. Ooh, I like the fact that they're soft. I can handle that. I gotta put you over here because I'm gonna wash you. Okay. So then my hair and makeup actually took about 3 hours. And because I ended up getting hair extensions, and I'll try to post a picture of what my hair looked like when it was done. And that took the longest time. And so the girl that did my mom's hair and makeup did my hair. And then the owner of Selena Lopez came and did my makeup. And she and I have talked a little bit from the moment I did my trial makeup. My original hair portion was half up, half down, and it looked too intense. And because I also wore a tiara, and so I decided to go with the Hollywood waves, and there's a lot involved here. So anyway, which is why it took so long. So by the time they literally got done putting on the last bit of makeup and getting my hair sprayed down so it wouldn't move, it was time for me to get in my dress. Terry had already came back to the room, but what was really nice is we asked the boardwalk to give us a partition to put in our suite, so then that way he didn't see me and I didn't see him. No, I could hear him because he's loud. He talks all the time. And he came in and he went to the other side and he got ready. And then he took off because his kids were meeting him downstairs. I didn't want anybody else up in the room because it was busy enough as it is. And so he met his kids downstairs for pictures. So they did pictures downstairs, and then the limo took him and his best man back to, took them over to the wedding pavilion. In the meantime, as I was finishing getting dressed and getting some pictures done inside the room, once they got the all clear that he was gone, they called me downstairs and I got pictures in the boardwalk downstairs as well. This is called a bubble blanket. Hyphy, I think is what the name of this is. Oh my gosh, it's so soft. And I got some pretty decent pictures, I would assume. I haven't seen them yet. Still waiting on them. And the reason why I'm cutting this is because of how it's sealed on here. Maybe I'll do it this way. And then they shuttled me over to the wedding pavilion with my mother and my brothers and my nephew. And it was interesting trying to get into the limo with my dress. It's not that my dress was big. It was bulky in a way because of the train, not for any other reason. That it was like, that's not uncommon for wedding dresses. I didn't have to wear like a whole lot underneath of it or anything like that, but it was just bulky. So anyway, we get to the wedding pavilion and they shuttle me over into, there's a getting ready area for the bride that's separate from the groom, and they kept him hidden so then that way he didn't see me. And that was my only request, is that, you know, we didn't see each other until I actually walked down the aisle. He never did see what the dress looked like. I had it steamed and everything. And when she steamed it, she covered it with a sheet, and he didn't ever see it. So it was fun. And in the meantime, I had asked the Dapper Danielle at Gwendolyn's cookbook signing, because I ran into her there, if she would come to the wedding. I said, have you ever been to a wedding at the Wedding Pavilion? She's like, no. And I said, do you want to come? I said, I'm having one in January or in December. And she's like, well, sure. And so we emailed back and forth a little bit, and I said, don't tell anybody. I said, you'll be the surprise for my husband. And she goes, oh, this will be fun, because he's a huge fan. I am too. And so are other members of our family. And so I didn't tell anybody. And so then it happened to be the day before the wedding. His son ran into her, and she had said something to him about it. And so he ended up finding out indirectly. And he told me at the rehearsal that he knew. He goes, but I didn't tell anybody else. I said, okay. And I said, don't say anything. And he goes, I'm not. But I ended up getting pictures of him and Danielle the day before, and then Danielle and his daughter the next day, or the same day, and she had no idea. So I didn't tell anybody. And he didn't tell anybody. He kept a really good secret. But anyway, she shuttled into my room. She was shoved into my room by my wedding planner as it was like 5 minutes before I started walking down the aisle. And she goes, I almost ruined the surprise. She goes, he's standing right out there. She goes, but his back was to me. She goes, and so he didn't see me. And I'm like, cool. So we sat and talked for a while. And Terry's phone was in that room with me, and we were taking selfies and stuff like that. I was like, he's going to just die when he sees us, because we're taking selfies with his cell phone. He doesn't even know it. So anyway, and then it was time. It was go time, and I could hear everything because there were speakers in the room that they had me in. And then when they had come to get me, everybody else had already kind of walked down the aisle to their thing, and then I hear my brother ask everybody to stand, and they started playing my song, which was 1,000 Years by Christina Perri. That's what I walked down to. And but the fun fact is everybody had their own song to walk down to, but that was mine. Okay, so this blanket is actually pretty decent size. Well, look at it. I'm gonna like this. It's really soft. I might use this tonight, man, because Florida 50 is like almost like 20 degrees in Indiana. And I have one last thing that was like an add-on before I finish my story. But so yeah, everything went off without a hitch. Other than the only thing that would probably be a nuance with if anything went wrong, it was the fact that when we got to our hotel room, Disney has a thing where they put the name, they welcome the family into the room. It said, but this time it said, congratulations, Terry and Heather. That is my sister-in-law. And I laughed so hard when I saw it. And if I can find that picture, I'll put it up here. And Terry immediately went down and changed it. I said to my sister-in-law, I said, is there something you need to be telling me? She's like, God, no, one's enough. I'm like, I agree. So after the wedding, we got shuttled outside to have some pictures at Picture Point. It was kind of an overcast day, which, was okay. It didn't really rain on us. It sprinkled earlier in the day, and we got a double rainbow. That was really nice. And but the sun didn't come back out the rest of the day. But we got a really good picture sent to us at one of our sneak peeks with ominous clouds in the background. And it's really kind of cool. While they took the pictures outside, they got everybody together because one of our asks were to be able to have a group picture with everybody. So we did that. We got a group picture with everybody. And then we did the traditional, family pictures and stuff like that. Well, everybody else was shuttled over to Whitehall Patio, which is like a very short walk on the other side of the Grand Floridian. in the Grand Floridian Conference Center for their cocktail hour. So cocktail hour started at 6. We were done probably by 5:30ish, and with the ceremony and everything, from the moment that they had everybody get seated and whatnot, and then by the time we got done with our pictures, it had just started. So we were actually able to enjoy some downtime in our own little room to make sure that we had some bites and had drinks, and I could change my shoes because I had stilettos on and everything. And then we joined everybody after we got our sneak peek inside of our reception hall. So we also had an entertainment. We had Cameron Matthews, who did an amazing job as Franck from Father of the Bride. If you've not seen Father of the Bride, please do so, because he was Franck through and through. And he was just amazing. 100% recommend him every single time. He also does he also does engagements outside of stuff like this, but go check him out, Cameron Matthews Entertainment. And I'll post all the information down below with all the vendors that I utilized for my wedding. They were all amazing. And then, then we got to go join everybody at our reception. Actually, we went out a little bit during our cocktail hour before we got shuffled in to enjoy our reception, which was buffet. And so what was funny is that when Terry and I are standing up at the aisle, standing up during the ceremony, they were doing a ring warming ceremony. And while we were waiting, he goes, "Why is Danielle in the back?" I said, "Because I invited her." And he goes, "What?" I said, "It's my wedding gift to you." And he's like, "I didn't even bring my book." That was the only thing that he thought of, is that he didn't bring his book, because she had a book that he bought that he wanted her to sign, but he didn't bring it. And I had forgotten it at home. And we were, "Hi, Stella." Stella saying hi. And he's like, I was trying so hard to figure out how to get the book there so that way she could sign it. But bless her heart, she brought a signed copy. And so, yeah, it was just priceless to see the look on his face. But anyway, last thing in my box is this little gadget. This was an add-on. This is an emergency window breaker and seatbelt cutter. The reason why I got this is not because I anticipate using it. It's because we live in an area where there's a lot of lakes. And Terry actually just got something similar for his new car. So he just got a new car. And I just advise anybody that's near bodies of water, have this in their vehicle, and this is going to go in my Mustang. But the funniest part about all of this, other than the fact nothing went wrong, everything was perfect. We ended the night going up to the second floor of the Grand Floridian, where they load everybody on to the monorail. And his son actually was like, "You know what, let's go up to the monorail and see if we can't get you guys in the front to get pictures." And we did. We got pictures, and I'll see if I can post a few here for you. She's getting impatient. I think she wants some attention. It's been a long work day, and here we are. Hi, baby. And then we got to go back to the hotel room and just crash, because the next morning we had brunch with everybody before they left. And then we still had a full day to kind of just like take it easy, do whatever we wanted to do, because the following day we had to do it all over again with hair and makeup. I had to do it all over again, I should say. I went to bed at 7. I got up at 11:30. My hair and makeup, Selena came back at midnight to do my hair and makeup, because I had a Magic Kingdom photo shoot that morning, and they only do those photo shoots before the park opens up. And so yeah, it was so much fun to go into Magic Kingdom without anybody there, and to see everything so quiet and get some really interesting and magical pictures. I haven't seen all of them yet. But I'll try to sneak in a few here that we got back that were really special to us. And then we went to Cape May for breakfast and got to see some of the characters. By this time I was done being in that dress. That dress did not hold up very well because it's not meant to be something that is worn for 14 hours at a time. But we got back to the hotel room and we were getting blasted with notifications because Danielle posted on her social media the wedding that she went to, our wedding that she went to. And oh my gosh, some of the comments are hysterical. And so here's the thing. Terry and I are only 5 years apart in age. And there was this one comment, I'm going to try to post it right here, that talks about how it was awkward because they thought that I was kissing my dad way too long. And there's another comment. It was a really nice compliment of, I really appreciate, I'll see if I can't post it here. Really appreciate, someone has a large age gap posting, their wedding and stuff like that. And I'm like, there's not a large age gap. And there's a lot of people that also thought that I was a lot younger than what I really am. As you can tell, I've got lines. There's no filter on this. And so and I do have gray hair. It's just that you can't see it right now. And, but yeah, so Terry did say to me, he goes, do I look that old? And his kids are like, just tell everybody you have a hot young wife and be okay with it. And so that's what we're going with. But anyway, it was a lot of fun. And, we were tired. We were done peopling because, it was right before the holidays. And so we just took some downtime after the holidays to kind of regroup and not have to worry about planning anything. And so now we're just in the process of navigating January with both of our jobs are usually really just going in full blast, and that's absolutely true right now. And so, but yeah, we don't think we would have done it any other way. I know that doing a wedding at Disney is not for everybody, and that's okay. And Disney's been a lot of fun for Terry and I. We're our annual pass holders. And so there are times where we go, you know what, let's go to Epcot to just walk around the world. Especially during Food and Wine, we can go grab a few small bites and do that. And so having a tiny tummy and it's ideal to do things like that. And I'm not considering myself a Disney adult only by association, and I will stick to that a little bit, mainly because I really want to do other things other than Disney. I love Disney, but it is not my go-to destination for vacation because we live so close to it now. And I've been to Disneyland, and let's just say that Disney World just blows them out of the water. And I'll just leave it at that. But anyway, this is going on to be a 40-minute conversation, and I didn't mean for it to be that long. But anyway, yes, thank you for tuning in. If you've made it to this point, I will put my vendors down below if you have any questions about anything as it applies to Disney weddings, and or any of the vendors that I utilized, or even FabFitFun. Please let me know. I'm happy to answer any questions, send you any links. And hopefully I will be gearing up, ramping up my information around all things bariatric again soon, now that I'm freed up from all the planning around the wedding is now over with, and thank yous are sitting on our kitchen table ready to be sent out. And yeah, I'm good. So now I can hyper focus on something else now. And so we'll figure that out. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you all really soon. Bye.